How can you not be romantic about baseball after watching what Cade Cavalli did for his first start in the big leagues in over 1,000 days? And he shoved, and guys, Cade Cavalli might be for real.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me on Twitter at RyanClary11. And while you're at it, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It is your team every single day. And later on in today's show, we have got an A's Nats preview as they got dog walked in game one. But last night, the Nationals walked it off thanks to CJ Abrams. So can the Nationals get the series win? We'll have that discussion later on in the show today. In the second segment, the Nationals have named a new closer, according to Miguel Cairo, and I'm excited about it. But also, what are some young player goals for this second half? We'll have that discussion for you later on in the show today. But we start off discussing last night's walk-off win with thanks to Cade Cavalli and the stud performance that he put on for the Washington Nationals. And guys, Cade Cavalli might be real. This might be legit. And if you look at his stat line from yesterday, I think Cade Cavalli, number one, probably could have gone a lot longer than what he did in the 4 1/3 innings pitch. But let's just kind of jump into this first. Cade Cavalli has yet to pitch in a Major League Baseball game since he was shut down back in 2022 after making his debut against the Cincinnati Reds. It has been 1,076 days since his last Major League Baseball appearance. That had to have felt so good for Cavalli to get back on the bump, the place where he made his debut, the organization that drafted him in the first round, the organization that made him a top prospect in baseball, the long road of injuries and setbacks that he has gone through the past 2 seasons. It was incredible to watch what he did last night. So first and foremost, I'm really happy for this guy because Cade Cavalli, from all of the times that I've talked with him over the years, he seems like a great guy, someone who is easy to root for, someone that you can go up to, have an honest conversation. We all know about his haircutting business that he talks about all the time. It was just awesome to see that because he has had all this adversity over the years. And yesterday was just kind of that moment where we all saw him embrace Jake Irvin, an old college teammate of his, when he was pulled from the game after 4 1/3 really good, strong innings pitch yesterday. Him and Jake Irvin shared a pretty emotional hug, and we all kind of saw the emotions on Cade Cavalli's face there. That was a big deal for him. That meant a lot for Cade Cavalli to go out there and finally deliver him what he has been hoping for a long, long time. So really good to see Cade Cavalli out there and looking really sharp because, speaking of really sharp, I was not expecting what he did yesterday. And you can tell in the first inning, immediately off the bat, that this guy was amped up for this start. He struck out someone with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball in his first at-bat, and you're like, okay, this is Cade Cavalli now. He struck out 4 batters through his first 2 innings pitched, 3 up, 3 down the first 2 innings, and Cavalli was amped up to be there, and he should have, by the way, because he looked really sharp in yesterday's outing. So kind of jumping into it of what the expectations could be for Cavalli at this point, I think, again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, Cade Cavalli is your stud. He's going to be your ace. I'm not saying that at this point. But his stuff was electric yesterday. I was not expecting that. And is this something to expect every 5 days moving forward? Maybe. But you can see that when we went into the start yesterday, we were talking about him having the second best stuff behind Mackenzie Gore. That rang true last night. And it is pretty evident that right now, today, Cavalli is your second best starting pitcher right behind Mackenzie Gore. And even then, if we really want to think about it this way, Cavalli might have better stuff than Mackenzie Gore. And I'm not saying that lightly. Mackenzie Gore's got some really good stuff. He's got his wipe away pitches. His breaking pitches this season have been some of the best in all of baseball. But Cade Cavalli's fastball, his curveball yesterday, I thought everything that he threw against the Oakland Athletics yesterday were just simply electric. And you understand why this guy was a former top prospect in the game. I like the potential of Cavalli at this point. It's kind of one of those things where, we've talked about him struggling in AAA all season long. We've been wondering where he is. And he finally gets the call up, and he probably just had the best outing of his season, even across the minor leagues at this point. Cavalli was electric yesterday. This is kind of what the Nationals needed. They need to inject a little adrenaline in their arm, and now you get one of your former best prospects in the game coming back from an injury and making a real impact on this team. And yeah, pitched 88 pitches yesterday, didn't make it through 5, couldn't qualify for a win, and ultimately the Nationals offense wasn't going to allow them to qualify for a win, at least early on in the game. But of course, the 9th inning Nats, they rallied. But Cavalli was awesome yesterday. That was the headline. That is what I wanted to talk about today. But yes, the Nationals did ultimately get a walk-off win. Thanks to Riley Adams in the 6th inning yesterday. Riley Adams is kind of sneaky, been putting together some really good at-bats here as of late, and you're starting to see the power yet again, because his underlying numbers, by the way, have actually been pretty good as of recent. And even overall this season, I saw a baseball thread about a week ago saying how Riley Adams is having one of the weirdest seasons ever, because you've seen his bat speed go up, yet you see his batting average down, his slugging down. All of his numbers are down right now. But yesterday and over the past few weeks here, Riley Adams has been putting together some really good at-bats. And again, he kind of saved the Nationals' butt yesterday with that home run in the 6th inning. But speaking of saving people's butts, CJ Abrams going 0 for 3 in his first 3 at-bats. Wasn't really that. He's kind of been slow as of recent, having an 801 OPS right now. Unfortunately, for the Nationals, they need Abrams and Wood to be there in order to make that beautiful offense that we've seen at times with this team. But right now, both these guys are here in a struggle bus. But in the 9th inning, you have Robert Hassel III at a nice double, who, he's been hitting the ball really well as well so far at this point in time. So Robert Hassel III gets a double, and then comes Jacob Young. And I'm not going to lie, I was planning to rip my hair out today for this show, talking about this at-bat. Jacob Young up 3-0 in the count, and then you try to bunt twice, and you bunt out. What was that sequence? What was that? That was just bad baseball purely. It was awful baseball right then and there. And honestly, for someone who has a high IQ the way that Jacob Young does, it was kind of stunning to see him even try to attempt a bunt with 2 strikes. Unfortunately, it was a bunt out, and the Nationals, their opportunities came down to CJ Abrams. And fortunately enough for us, he came through. CJ Abrams ripped one between the shortstop and third base, going to left field, who was Tyler Soderstrom for the Oakland Athletics, whatever you want to call them nowadays. And Robert Hassel III was sent home. Luckily, the throw was not too great by Soderstrom that it kind of allowed Hassel to squeeze in there. It would have been a really tight play if the throw was on the mark, but it was not. He missed it, and Robert Hassel III scored the run, and the Nationals got the walk-off win. That felt good yesterday. We needed that. We needed that after giving up 80 hits in 4 games against the Brewers, and as well as the A's in game 1 of this series. And then yesterday, quick 4 hits, only 1 run. It was an earned run, of course, by this Nationals bullpen. And it was a home run given up by Connor Pilkington at this point. We'll probably see what he does for this team moving forward. But yesterday was just one of those much-needed wins. And the Nationals, with Cade Cavalli going 4 1/3, 88 pitches yesterday. Miguel Cairo was super pumped about him in the post-game press conference. But yesterday felt good all around. You got what you wanted to see. You saw CJ Abrams, the walk-off hit. James Wood added another hit. He's continuing to slump a little bit, but still, this Nationals team needed some positive energy. Yesterday, we got that with this team. Real quick before we move on to some young people goals for this Nationals team, let's talk about Cade Cavalli real quick. And because I saw some people not thrilled with Cade Cavalli being pulled after 88 pitches, but I had no issue with it. And going into yesterday's start, I said that I think he probably goes like 4 2/3, makes it maybe into the 5th inning. And that's what we saw yesterday. Had runners on first and second. Miguel Cairo quickly pulled him. And honestly, I think that was the right decision. If Cade Cavalli were to let a few runners score there, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But he was so good that while handing it over to this Nats bullpen may not be the best of moves moving forward, and you want to see Cade Cavalli finish that thing out, for his first start back since, again, 1,076 days since being in Major League Baseball, you wanted to see him go off on the right foot. And that's exactly what he did in yesterday's game. So I had no issue whatsoever with Cairo pulling him there. I think it was the right decision. Would I have wanted to see him finish that game maybe in a few starts down the line? Absolutely. But in yesterday's contest, again, you wanted to see him come out healthy, number one. And number two, finish on a strong note. I think that's what he did yesterday. Cavalli felt good about his start. The Nationals felt good about his start. And ultimately, us as fans, we felt good about that start. So I had no issue about Miguel Cairo pulling him. And honestly, I think it was the right decision. So no questions, no complaining from me here. I think Miguel Cairo made the right decision. But speaking of Miguel Cairo, the other day, he was asked who's going to be your closer moving forward, and the Nationals have not had any save opportunities. And, well, he may have tipped his hat last night, and he did, in fact, about who his closer is. So we'll discuss that after this. And yes, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up and college football isn't far behind. It's a perfect time to lock in your season long, more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before week one kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on big name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. And I've already made a few of my season-long picks. I've got Jaden Daniels for more than 27.5 touchdowns, and that feels like a solid shot for this team. And of course, with Jaden Daniels, we know here in DC, we have that quarterback. It's going to make you feel good. But what if you had your own quarterback with PrizePicks? And preseason picks also help me get a feel for how the year could go. It's like a fun warm-up for the full season. Download the PrizePick app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, run your game. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So, as we were mentioning, Miguel Cairo had some interesting words in yesterday's press conference, and actually a few days prior to that also, when he was asked about who is going to be the closing pitcher moving forward. And he just kind of said, well, you'll have to see. And last night, we finally got the opportunity to see who's going to be closing out games, and it was the left-handed pitcher, Jose Ferrer. And Jose Ferrer, make no mistake about it, this has been a really, really tough season for him. I had all-star expectations for him. I believe one of my bold takes this season was he would actually be an all-star, and boy, was I wrong. He basically wrote a 5 ERA all season long. Last night dipped to a 4.94 in his 53rd appearance, but he looked sharp. In last night's game, the Nationals finally allowed him to close the game, and fortunately enough for us, we got to see a really good Jose Ferrer. Now, here's the thing with him moving forward, because there's a couple takeaways from last night. Number one, I've always believed in this. If you give a young guy confidence, whether it be a batter moving up in the lineup, whether it be batting Dylan Cruz second, whether it be giving Cade Cavalli that extra confidence and having him make his start even after struggling in AAA. If you give these young guys opportunities and big ones, if you have the talent and if you have the stuff for it, a lot of the times I have a lot of faith in those guys. Ferrer has not really been given the vote of confidence by many people in this organization this season. He was supposed to be their big setup guy, and early on this season, he really struggled early on. And after having some injuries the past few years, he's been healthy, but still was never his best self. And unfortunately for the Nationals, was not his best self. But Miguel Cairo basically has named Jose Ferrer as the closer moving forward, and this is the correct decision. Ferrer probably has the best stuff coming out of this bullpen. Similar to guys like, again, Cade Cavalli, who's got really good stuff, Mackenzie Gore. Jose Ferrer is up there in that talking point, except he's a bullpen guy. Giving him that vote of confidence, if he is the closer moving forward, is the absolute correct decision. If Ferrer can go in these next 2 months and really prove to not only himself, but the Nationals that this guy does have electric stuff and can close out games, he will be your closer going into next season. And I love that. Jose Ferrer is a disgustingly good pitcher at times. You see his stuff pop out at you. His high 90s fastball at times who has reached 100. Jose Ferrer is electric, and he still is pretty young at 25 years old. This was the correct decision by Cairo. And again, going into kind of like the last 2 months here of the season, this is what it's all about. It is all about the young guys right now and giving them that vote of confidence and allowing them to, number one, make mistakes, but also allow them to succeed. This is what it should be. And seeing Ferrer now being the closer and being named the closer, maybe not permanently at this point, but at least for now, gives me that confidence that Mike DiBartolo and Miguel Cairo are in lockstep here. We need to see what the young guys have. And seeing what Jose Ferrer did yesterday, I felt really good about that closing appearance from him. And again, this is what it should be. So forget Miguel Cairo real quick and Jose Ferrer. Let's talk about some of the younger guys here, because I think Brady House right now, while we've kind of talked about it, he does have a higher batting average than anticipated, but the power necessarily has not been there. And after yesterday going 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, I've got a goal set for Brady House at this point. I want to see Brady House hit 5+ home runs over the next 2 months. I think that is a really attainable goal at this point. He only has 2 home runs in his first 141 at-bats, but still, I think Brady House has looked really sharp over at third base. I think that right now, Brady House just ultimately has really struggled at the plate, but I still think he's putting together some really good at-bats, and we do see him hitting the ball relatively solid at this point, but we just haven't seen the ball jump from his bat at this point. With Brady House, the Nationals have something special there, and you have to give this young guy all the opportunities to succeed. Things that we just talked about here with Jose Ferrer also apply to Brady House. Giving players that vote of confidence that a lot of people have been searching for a long time here in DC, you kind of want to see that happen with Brady House. Last night and over the last few games here, he's batting like around 6th or 7th and kind of goes back and forth. Paul DeYoung, reliable vet, has been fine for the Nationals, batting 3rd in yesterday's game. No, that should be Brady House's position. That is where House should be moving forward. He should be your 3rd bat because, again, if the Nationals have any chance at success next season, assuming that James Wood is going to be a star again and that CJ Abrams will be a star, you need Brady House to pan out, and you need him to pan out in a huge way. Give him that vote of confidence by moving him up in the lineup. I understand why you have to kind of space things out, but we've all talked about when Dylan Cruz comes back eventually, which should be soon because he actually went yard this past weekend in Rochester and he's starting to look the part of a major leaguer again. But Brady House kind of fits that role, though, of someone who needs to pan out, number one, but number two, give him that vote of confidence of moving up in that lineup. We have nothing to play for right now. The only thing that the Nationals have to play for is it's not giving your veterans at bats to have them use a trade bait. That's pointless at this point. but it's giving Brady House opportunities. It's giving Robert Hassel III opportunities. And as we saw yesterday, Robert Hassel set up the Nationals beautifully and scored the game-winning run in walk-off fashion. The Nats have to give their young guys that vote of confidence. Brady House is next, in my opinion. We saw it work with Jose Ferrer. We saw it work with Cade Cavalli. Next, give it to Brady House, please, Miguel Cairo. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Next, let's preview Game 3 of this A's-Nats series and who will get the win. We'll discuss that after this. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family, and maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize that you want to be in the stands? That's exactly where Gametime comes in, because it's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Gametime makes it all possible, and Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guaranteed that takes the worry out of buying tickets. And for instance, if you're going to the game today, I would be on the Metro right there around 11:30 before a 12:05 first pitch. I'd open up that Gametime app. You can see their flash zone deals. And yes, they have the best seats in your section for you that you can also see the image view of your seat right from your phone before you buy those tickets. And yes, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime and download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So we've got Game 3 of the Nationals A series, and today the pitching matchup is Mitchell Parker going up against left-handed pitcher Jacob Lopez. Jacob Lopez has been actually one of the better starters for the Oakland A's all season long, and Mitchell Parker has been really struggling here as of late for the Nationals. Over his last 7 starts, he's got nearly a 7 ERA, 37 1/3 innings pitched, 29 earned runs, only 19 strikeouts, and 12 walks, a 1.79 whip over his last 7 starts. It has been a real struggle for Parker here as of late. We've seen him have some solid first innings, but then things really unravel after that. So in today's start for Parker, the goal for him, make it out of the first inning and build off some momentum here, because the Nationals, you get the walk-off win yesterday. You had that feel-good story with Cavalli. You're going up against a relatively potent offense, by the way, with the A's, and we already have the lineup for the A's. You've got Shea Langeliers, who obviously killed the Nationals a few days ago. Nick Kurtz, who has been their rookie phenomenon, who has been on fire, batting .307 with a 1035 OPS, 23 home runs. And by the way, look at their first 3 batters. 22 home runs by Shea Langeliers, 23 home runs by Nick Kurtz, and then Brent Rooker, the vet, who is in the home run derby this year. 23 home runs, and all 3 of those guys are legit really good bats for this team. And the A's are a sneaky, really good hitting team right now, and they've got a really tough top 4. So hopefully the Nationals can get by that. The Nationals have yet to release their lineup at this point in time, but still build off some momentum here. You know this is going to have to be a bullpen game for the Nationals. You know that Mitchell Parker likely will not go past the 5th or the 6th inning. And again, after last night's really impressive win, you'd love to see the Nationals build off this and hopefully take some momentum going forward. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We can see if the Nationals can finish off this series, but until then, have a good one. Go Nats.